What's going on? This is Pito back with another book review. Today we doing the book on everybody's favorite bully, 50 Cent. The book Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. I read this book a long time ago before I even started doing book reviews, before I even started taking notes on books. But I had a little refresher, so we back. It was a good book, a lot of good stories. And if you're going to listen to anybody about business, it might as well be 50 Cent. This is a great book. It's Pito with another book review. Let's get it. Alright, one of the main things 50 Cent talked about in his book, one of the key points that I took away from it was don't run away from fear, and how your fear can make you miss out on opportunities and make you not take chances and makes you not take that step forward. He was saying instead of running away from it, you should embrace it. You should go towards it. You should be willing to tackle these demons and go at them head first. And that's one of the things that I read in one of the books I read about Kobe Bryant, how his main thing was attacking whatever he was fearful. He would go at it full steam ahead because he did not want to let that fear conquer him and take advantage of anything that he was lacking or make him not want to get better or take opportunities, anything like that. So that was one of the main things he talked about in his book, was not letting fear stop you from pushing forward and doing better, because that's when the growth really happens, when you take them chances and not let fear stop you in the tracks of what you're trying to accomplish. So that was one of the dope things that I read in this book. Another great thing about this book, 50 Cent, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, was a loss is never really a loss as long as you got the right mentality and the right thought process behind everything you're going through. And I'm definitely a component of that, because I'm always looking at things differently. I'm always trying to take the high road. I'm always looking at the lessons and situations instead of the adversity or the mistakes or how it didn't work out or playing the victim mentality. I always look at it like, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And how can I get better? So that was one of the things that he definitely talked about, was a loss isn't always a loss. And then speaking on loss or failure, like even in the gym nowadays, I try to push my fighters to failure as much as I possibly can, so they can learn and they can see it and they can touch and taste how it feels to be in that place. So when they get there in the fight, it won't be unfamiliar. So a loss is never really a loss. I love that quote. I love that part when he talked about that as well in his book. Another thing that 50 Cent talked about in Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter was staying in shape physically and mentally. He was saying, like, in the world of business that he's in, he has to be sharp. He has to pay attention to detail. He cannot let people get over on him. He can't let things slide or little things get bombed just because he's not in shape mentally or physically. So he said staying in shape physically can always help with the mental aspect of it. You'll see things a lot more clear. You'll be a lot more, your processing will be a lot quicker. You'll be a lot more sharper when it comes to a lot of different things. And that's one thing that I'm trying to get to myself, is getting better and getting in more shape physically. And I'm going to keep saying it until I do it, God damn it. But definitely one of the things that he talked about in his book was staying sharp mentally and physically, and the benefits of both, especially when you combine them. You with me? Another thing that 50 talked about in this book that I thought was dope, like if you come from the inner city or the hood or even impoverished neighborhoods, a lot of times setbacks are normals. Like setbacks or not getting your way, that's kind of common. It's not that detrimental if you always had a silver spoon or everything was handed to you. So like coming up the way I come up and growing the way I grow, you always got to get it from the mud. You always got to figure it out. Don't get me wrong. I have personally a lot of help and a lot of support. And I've seen my family and I've seen my brothers and my sisters really get it from the mud and really develop and really not take a loss or a setback as a be all to end all. They always figure out a way to come back. They always figure out a way to line it up. They always got to figure out a way to figure it out, even in business. And I believe I get a lot of that from my circle, from the people around me, that no matter what, no matter how many setbacks, no matter how it happened, the bounce back is always the most important. The comeback is always what's the significant part of the story. It's like, yeah, I took that L, but did you see what I did after that? So that was another thing that I thought was amazing in this book, was how a setback is never really the defining moment. The comeback is. You with me? Another thing that he talked about in 50 Cent book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, was being yourself, being truly authentic to who you are. being yourself and being truly authentic to who you are and letting people around you be who they are and be themselves. You don't always have to try to fake the funk. You don't always have to try to fit in. You don't always have to be somebody else wants you to be. Because a lot of times who you truly are authentically is going to be your way to get where you want to get. Because people are looking for people that's authentic, looking for people that's genuine, looking for people that's original, not just following the trends, not just doing what everybody else is doing. So being your true self and letting people around you be who they really are as well, because you don't want nobody around you just trying to fit to whatever you want and they never really being their true authentic self, because that's never gonna last. So remember, always let people be who they are and you be who you are. Keep it real as possible. You with me? So another thing that I thought was amazing in 50 Cent book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, he talked about competition isn't always a bad thing. And I'm going to say this quote until I'm blue in the tongue, but I love this quote so much. He says, "The serpent is only wicked in the eyes of the prey." That was in the book, Be a More Complete Beast. And I always love that quote, because just because somebody is your opposite or somebody's an op at the time doesn't mean that they're inherently evil or they're inherently trying to stop you from going where you want to go. They're just trying to go there at the same place you're trying to go. If you in competition, basketball, football, boxing, whatever it is, you may have competition, but a lot of times the real fighters, when they finish fighting, they dab it up. When they finish playing, it's all love after that. But in that moment, like it's whatever. But just because somebody is your opposite, or just because somebody is your opposition or your competition, if you look at it a certain way, they're just trying to make you better. They're just trying to get to where they're trying to get as well. So that's just going to sharpen your tools. That's all that's going to do. It's a benefit and a silver lining and a bright side to look at almost anything. And if you're in competition, that's one way, a great way of looking at it. Like, somebody ain't necessarily inherently evil just because they're on the opposite side of where you stand or the way you feel. And a lot of times people get caught up in that mindset of victim mentality a lot of times when they're in competition, like, oh, this person did that person did that. But if you stay away from that victim mentality and really look at it for what it is in a different way, it's always going to work out in your benefit, I promise. Another amazing part of this book, 50 Cent book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, he was talking about the benefit of working hard and achieving the goals that you set out, and how amazing of a feeling it is when you really put in your time, your effort, your blood, sweat, and tears, and whatever you try to do, and it actually worked, and it actually go do, and you know you put in the time, you know your material, you know how this gonna go, you really study, you did your work, you did your part, and it pays off. He was like, it's nothing better feeling in the world than that. And I love that that's just part of this book. I love when he talk about that. I love when he talk about how much confidence it builds, success, and really achieving the goals that you set out. So that was another dope, amazing part of this book that I really bang with, you know what I mean? Another thing that he talked about in Hustle Smarter, Hustle Harder was his relationship with his son. And it's a wild situation, and it's like, you hear so much about it and you start to get a better picture when he explaining the things that him and his son went through. And one of the crazy things about it was he was talking about how his son, he was trying to get him into his own business, and his son wanted to start doing sneakers. So 50 Cent was like, but I got a great business idea. It was this sneaker store that was closing down, and he was trying to buy like the whole sneaker store. And he told his son, like, yo, you can get these I can get these sneakers for you. You can start an online business and start it up. And his son wasn't really trying to push it as hard as 50 Cent thought, it didn't believe, whatever the case may be. And then like, I think a month later or a year later, Sneaker X popped up. And that's like $1 billion company, I believe, right now. And 50 Cent just was like, if only he stuck with it or really pushed through with these sneakers, that it really could develop into something beautiful or something amazing. But sometimes your hatred or your fear or your issues with somebody can't let you see past certain opportunities, which I understand. But that was like one of the good parts of this book that I thought was dope. So in conclusion, man, this book was dope, man. This book was about like really planning, really working hard, really dedicating yourself to whatever your dreams, your goals is, whatever your purpose is. It was amazing talking about staying ahead and chasing your dreams and hustle harder and hustle smarter and like lay out your blueprint, get your plan together, figure out which way you want to go, the direction you want to go, and really, find out the details and find out your purpose, align yourself with that purpose and being disciplined to that purpose. But it was a good book, man, especially coming from 50, hearing all the ups and downs and all the struggles he went through. But if you have read this book, let me know what y'all thought in this comment section. Just Pito with another book review. Let's get it.